What are the 3 biggest problems or challenges you're facing in your business right now? I can almost guarantee that the 3 solutions to those 3 problems are the same solution all the way through. What's the solution I'm talking about? The solution is the people on our team. But we haven't always recognized that when our people feel cared for, they care more. When our people know we care, they care more about our business and about the people we serve. My name's Todd Reimer. I'm the founder of Boots on the Ground Coaching. We're an organization that trains and coaches men and women who lead and manage in the trades. I want to tell you about the most disappointing 5 minutes of every shift I worked throughout high school. Well, almost every shift, and you'll understand in just a minute here. Throughout high school, I worked at a Bonanza restaurant. They almost don't exist anymore, but during those years, they were extremely busy. And for a good chunk of it, grade 10 and part of grade 11, I was a busboy and then I washed dishes. I really enjoyed what I did. Partly was because I could set my own pace and I could push myself to see how fast I could go. I could try to beat the dishwasher when I was a busboy, or I could try to stay ahead of the busboys when I was a dishwasher. And I enjoyed the challenge, I enjoyed the work, and I loved working with the people that I worked with. The shifts were usually about 6 hours to 8 hours long, and during the weekdays, we'd finish about 11:30, and I'd have to be at school early the next morning. The shifts would go well. We could be really, really busy, and it would be a great shift. We'd work hard together, we'd enjoy it, we'd enjoy each other, but the last 5 minutes would usually make or break that entire shift. 5 hours and 55 minutes could go extremely well, and the last 5 minutes would determine how I went home feeling about that shift. Here's what I mean. So at the end of the shift, about the last hour, if I was bussing tables, I'd have to clean up the dining room, vacuum everything, put everything away, wipe the tables, wipe the benches, wipe the condiments, everything, making sure it was ready for the next morning. Great. I'd do my best, and usually I would do a really good job. What would happen, after I was done, I'd have to get the manager who was closing that night, and he or she would come and walk through the dining room with me and inspect what I had done. Most managers would approach it this way. Oh, Todd, there's a little piece of paper stuck under there somewhere. Could you, there's a streak on that bench. There's, tiny little things. These ketchup containers are out of alignment. Fix that and then come and get me and I'll re-inspect. At that point, I was tired. I wanted to go home. I'd done my best. That last 5 minutes made me frustrated with the whole shift. But here's where not every shift was the same. We had a manager, and his name happened to be Todd as well. And here's how he would approach it. He'd walk through with me, and he'd be looking, and if he'd see a piece of paper on the ground, he'd stoop, he'd bend down, pick it up, put it in his pocket, and keep talking. We'd laugh and we'd joke, and he would look, and he'd probably see some tables that were streaky, and he'd just say, hey, next time you work, just double check that and make sure you get that next time. But great job, good job tonight during the rush. Thanks, have a good night. You can punch out and go home. That changed the way I viewed the shift because of how he approached it, opposed to how most other managers approached it. You see, we create the environment and the results that we want by how we lead and how we manage. Each of those approaches that the different managers took created results. You see, with Todd, I would go above and beyond all the time, anytime. He could call, and even if I had plans, and if he was desperate and he'd say, Todd, I'm closing tonight. Would you come in and work the close shift for me? Someone couldn't show up. I'd be in every time because of who he was and how he led. He created the results that he wanted. You see, the same is true for you and for me. When we lead and when we manage, we create certain and specific results. And that's why I wrote the books, More Than a Hammer, Leadership Tools for the Trades, Part 1 and Part 2. Because as leaders and managers, we have such tremendous influence when we lead or manage well. You see, people are the most important part of any business, especially in the trades. What results are you creating with the way you lead and the way you manage? In these books, you're going to find tools that will enable you to create some of these results. You're going to be able to bring out the best in the people you lead. You're going to be able to create the culture that you want and that you need in the workplace. You're going to enjoy leading and managing, and your people are going to enjoy you as you lead and manage well. And fourth, you're going to create the results that you want and that you need in your business. People are going to be willing to come alongside and help you find those solutions to the problems that we all face. Click on the link below, www.morethanAhammerbook.com, and it's going to take you to my website where you're going to be able to pick up copies for yourself and for the men and women who lead in your organization, giving you more tools to put in your leadership toolbox and management toolbox that you're going to be able to draw on at different times to create the results you need in your business. Help the people around you reach their potential. Use the tools you're going to find in More Than a Hammer Leadership Tools for the Trades. Click on the link below and it'll take you there. Now, these books are not written the way most books are written. They're shorter, they're to the point. The chapters are shorter. The books aren't necessarily shorter, but the chapters are shorter, to the point. There's questions at the end of each chapter that are going to help you apply the material specifically to your situation. And as well, there's a QR code at the back of each chapter that will take you to a video when you scan it with your phone. You'll be able to watch or listen to the material instead of reading if that's how you prefer to take in that material that day, or if that's how you want to share it with the people in your organization. I'm looking forward to seeing you in More Than a Hammer Leadership Tools for the Trades.